Alfie's hoping this year when we go trick-or-treating that all of these buckets are going to be filled up with dog biscuits. I don't think it's going to happen, Alfie. Oh, but there is something interesting in there. Different buckets, different sizes and different ways of decorating them. So this one is a bucket of blood. I've got a bucket with a ghost on the front, but I'm going to show you how I made the larger one of the three, which is the spider and the witch's face and the cobweb. This is how we made it. Go on, you can have that. Do you want it? You can have it if you want it. I've used felt for my little buckets. It's easy to work with, it's nice for kids to use as well, and it doesn't actually fray, so there's no hemming involved. And you can make these in any size you like. For the one that I'm going to make now, I've cut around a 7-inch plate, so my circle's 7 inches across, and I've backed all of the pieces with quite a firm stabiliser interfacing, which is fusible, so that's ironed on and it's stuck. To work out how much fabric to go around the edge of my circle, times that by pi, which is 3.142, so my 7 inches becomes a taj over 21 inches, and then add just an extra 1/4 of an inch either side for a seam allowance, so just under 22 inches, and this measures about 8 inches deep. I've also made a handle from another strip of felt, and again I've put the fusible interfacing on the back of it. Now for my cobweb, I've made large stitches by hand with embroidery thread in the shape of the star, and then just caught with a long piece of thread underneath some of those stitches until I've gone all the way around into a spiral into the centre. I'm going to decorate this with bats and witches and blood, but I'll do that after I've sewn it together. So the first thing to do is to sew this into a tube, and I'm going to sew the stitches on the outside, that's fine, and then I'll sew the base underneath like so. So I'm just putting the handle on the top now. Do be aware if you're using this interfacing, it's very stiff, so the bigger the bucket the easier it is going to be to sew. If you're making smaller buckets, then maybe use a little bit of spray starch or the like instead of the interfacing. So I'll just put the final side on here, and again it's a bucket that's going to have sweets in it, so I'm not too worried about it being absolutely perfect. And it's nice and quick as well, and something that you can adapt, maybe for Christmas time, make a Christmas bucket with Santa on it. That'll do. Now for the fun bit. So that's where we are. That's the biggest of my 3 buckets. Let's get decorating. I'll just snip off the thread. On the red bucket, I actually put drips of blood all on the inside of the bucket, so you don't see any of the stitches, because this can look a little untidy. So I've got some blood, which again was just drips I cut out of some red felt, so that can go just to one side across here, I think. And I'm going to use my hot glue gun. Simply because it's really quick and the glue dries very quickly, but if you're doing this with the children, then don't use the hot glue gun. Use ordinary glue, because it does get very hot. There's a bit of blood spilling over. I think we'll have a witch on this side. So I've cut a triangle for her hat, so that can just poke out the top of my bucket like that, and I'll do a face next, and she can have a green face with a long pointy chin. A little bit pointier, I think. And a long pointy nose. bottom of her hat. So I'll give her some eyes and a mouth in just a second. Just around this side I've cut out a bat shape just by folding that in half, and it's almost like a letter M, so a curve on the top and a zigzag shape for the bottom. And I'm just going to glue that in the centre so the wings still flap a little bit. I decided my witch needs some hair. So, I know witches normally have black hair, but mine's going to have brown. And that's just going to come in from one side, because she's looking to one side. Yeah. And she needs some warts, as witches do. So she's got spots on her nose and on her chin. And in fact she can have a little mean mouth as well. And then I'm going to just pop some eyes on. So I'm going to use tweezers for these so I don't burn my fingers. Come on. You must take away these loose strands of glue afterwards, those come away quite easily. And I think my bat should have eyes as well. There we go. And as it's a vampire bat, maybe he should have some vampire teeth. Oh, that's a little bit big. That's it. So just two little pointy curved teeth to bite you with. No. Right, I'll take away all the spare glue afterwards. The final thing that I think I need to do is to pop a spider onto the web. Now, instead of making one, I actually found this brooch. So it's going to be a rather glamorous, sparkly spider right in the centre there. Ah, time to go trick-or-treating.